So yesterday we were discussing about shall we start? I think I have come here long time back. All of you are busy with your very good. Yes, right? So yesterday we were talking about Human Development Index, right? So what we have said is that initially it was per capita income that was taken as a measure to know about the status of the countries. Later it was believed that this per capita income proved to be not sufficient. It may be necessary but not sufficient to measure the economic and social status of the countries around the world. That is the reason why United Nations had come out with a second measure called the Human Development Index. As we have said, it basically talks about various other aspects like, of course, per capita income, then life expectancy at birth, and also education status. These are all the things that are taken by Human Development Index while talking about the other countries. How it is done, let us try to see how this is done. Let us look at them, right? So what they do is that for each and every country they will measure in a between 0 to 1 on a scale of 0 to 1. This measurement is done on a scale of 0 to 1. For example, if you take the health, life expectancy, if you take the health aspect, that is life expectancy, right? For example, if life expectancy is 85.3, 85 years and 3 months, it is considered as 1. That means complete life if you are living for 85 years and 3 months. And if it is 20, it is considered as 0. If you die before you reach the age of 20, that is how it is calculated between a scale of 0 to 1. In case of life expectancy, full life means 85 years 3 months. Manmohan Singh, long time back, crossed. Advani, we still don't know what is the real age, still alive. That means for Manmohan Singh and Advani we have to come out with a new measure, 5,250 years, not out, right? Right. So similarly, education, as we have discussed, it is measured at 2 levels. Yes, if any person dies below the age of 20 years, for that country it will be 0. For example, average life expectancy is around 60 years, right? Then it will be around, say, 0.6 on this scale, like that. On the other hand, average life expectancy of a country is only 20 years. That means it is 0 on this scale. Average life expectancy is close to 85 years. Then it will be 1. For example, what is the average life expectancy of India? 71 or 72 years, 70 years, right? So we are doing well on life expectancy. Some people don't die, right? Even Corona could not touch our Prime Minister, right? More dangerous, right? Corona, and she knew that if it touches our Prime Minister, it will die. For its own survival, it did not touch. Similarly, education. Education, we have said, it is taken on 2 parameters: the mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling, right? For example, mean years of schooling. It is said that if 15 years is the mean years, average number of years of schooling, it is called 1. 15, right? Average of schooling it is called 1. On the scale, if you have 15 years of schooling, it is 1. Similarly, expected years of schooling is 18 years, it is also 1. Now this is how they calculate it, right? This is how they calculate it. Expected years of schooling is 18 years, it is also 1. Similarly, GNP is also calculated how? In a gross national per capita income, right? If your gross national per capita income is $75,000, it is called 1. $75,000, right? If gross national per capita income is $75,000, it is 1. That means well developed country. On the other hand, if your gross national per capita income is $100, it is 0. Your country is a completely poor country, underdeveloped, right? That is how they calculate it. For example, take the case of Bihar, right? It will be minus infinity, right? Minus infinity. That is how they calculate it. For example, what is our per capita income? Around $2,400 going by nominal prices. $2,400. So, and $75,000 means 1. So $2,400 means we will be here somewhere here, right? If it is 0.5 means $37,500, right? We are only $2,500. We are very close to 0. We are trying very hard because we need perfect numbers, right? Since it is not possible to get 1, we are trying for 0. All right. So this is how they calculate it. Now, how do they calculate? This is how they calculate it. Geometric mean will be taken. So now let us look at what are the basic limitations with HDI. What are the basic criticisms? What are the basic limitations of HDI, Human Development Index? What are the basic issues? See, first and foremost, it takes into consideration very less number of variables, while evaluating human development, right? For example, it does not take into consideration security related aspects. Take into consideration security related aspects or empowerment movements of citizens. Empowerment movements. It also fails to take into consideration gender disparities and racial inequalities. Gender disparities and racial inequalities. Gender disparities and racial inequalities. Next, employment opportunities, environmental degradation are not taken into consideration. And environmental degradation, they are not taken into consideration. Right? That is what the critics say. They say that it is a very simple index. It is a very simple index. Very simple index. It does not take into consideration the complex realities of life. Complex realities of life. For example, take the case of China. Its per capita income is more than $10,000. But what about the quality of life in China? That is what it does not take into consideration, those things. Similarly, measurement of years of schooling. Similarly, this measurement of years of schooling and life expectancy can change from one country to other. Right? Now let us look at the latest Human Development Index. Here, Norway is at the top. Norway first rank. And HDI value of Norway is 0.957. Right? And Switzerland at the second place. America ranking is 17th. America's ranking is 17th, 17, with an HDI value of 0.926. 926. India has slipped. India's ranking has slipped to 132. Our ranking has slipped to 132 out of 191 countries. Previously, it was 131. And what is India's HDI value? 0.633. In 2020, India's value was 0.645. Why India's ranking has slipped? Why? Because India's life expectancy has gone down. India's life expectancy has gone down to 67.2 years. India's life expectancy has gone down to 67.2 years from 69.7 years. Earlier it was 69.7 years, now it is 67.2 years. Narendra Modi 72 years. Now, just for statistics I am giving you. I am not saying anything. Please don't think otherwise. Right? Please remember, all these rankings are for normal human beings, not for politicians. Right? Politicians live longer, much longer, they never die. Right? So, when Vajpayee was asked, when are you going to retire from politics? He smiled and said that politicians neither are tired nor retired. Right? So there is no question. Look at Sonia Gandhi. Half the time she spends in Gangaram hospital, but she never says Hey Ram. Right? Right. Then similarly, India's expected years of schooling is 11.9 years. Expected years of schooling is 11.9 years. The mean years of schooling is 6.7 years. Right? 6.7 years. And gross national per capita is $6,590. $6,590. That is what it says, right? Gross national per capita is $6,590. Why it has gone down? $6,590, right? What is the reason why India's ranking has gone down? It has gone down because of Corona crisis. That is what you write. It has gone down because of Corona crisis. And UN report, United Nations report, it says that United Nations report, it says that 90% of the countries have registered a decline in their value. 90% of the countries in the world have registered a decline in their value, right? In 2020 and 2021. Before Corona pandemic, between 2014 and 2019, before 2014 and 2019, it has increased for all the countries. It has increased for all the countries. But after Corona pandemic, it has declined for all the countries. And what is the reason why this decline has seen? One of the important reasons for this decline is thanks to Corona, global life expectancy has gone down. Global life expectancy has gone down. Global life expectancy has gone down from 72.8 years, from 72.8 years in 2019 to 71.4 years. 71.4 years in 2021. And looking at the trend, high human development indicators, high human development economies like Philippines and Venezuela. They had slipped into medium development category countries. They have slipped into medium development category countries. Medium development category countries. Development category countries. Philippines and Venezuela were part of high development category countries. Thanks to Corona, they have slipped into medium development category countries. That's what we are saying. Latin America, Sub-Saharan Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia have further slipped. They have further declined. And what is positive? Latin America, Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, they have further declined. And what is good about India? India's HDI value continues to exceed South Asia's. India's HDI value, Sub-Saharan African countries, right? India's HDI continues to exceed South Asia's average human development. Right? So India is definitely doing better than our beggars, not neighbors, neighboring beggars. India is a big beggar, better quality beggar. Right? That is what we say about Human Development Index. This is what the trends regarding Human Development Index. Right? Let us proceed and take up another important topic, PLI scheme, production linked incentives, PLI, production linked incentives. This is part of your economy, right? Before taking up this PLI scheme, yesterday we have done this fintech. I just wanted to give a little bit more facts about the fintech, which you can use in the examination. Take those facts. In 2021, January and February, these 2 months, in January and February 2021, RBI has found, Reserve Bank of India, it has found more than 1,000 unique Indian loan apps, unique loan applications, mobile apps, loan apps in over 81 app stores. And this is very important, out of which 600 are illegal. Out of 1,000 loan apps, 600 are illegal. 600 are illegal, right? Now, in spite of Jan Dhan accounts, we have 464 million beneficiaries accounts under Jan Dhan. 464 million beneficiary accounts under Jan Dhan. 464 million accounts under Jan Dhan. In spite of this, only 78% of Indians, have bank accounts. 78% of adults. We are not talking about children. So you can excuse yourself. Only 78% of adults have bank accounts. And this failure to ensure financial inclusion has resulted in these fintech companies bridging the gap. Failure to ensure universal banking. Has resulted in the spread of these fintech companies' loan applications. Second, and next, most of the banks are not willing to give small loans. They are not willing to give small loans. So these are the two major issues with our banking system. One is only 78% of the adults have bank accounts in spite of Jan Dhan and everything. And banks are not willing to give small loans. Third problem is collateral security. Next issue is collateral security. Banks do not provide loans without collateral security. They don't provide loans without collateral security. That is the reason why we have seen the spread of these loan applications. And how do these loan applications function? They function on the basis of this 2-1-0 formula. These loan applications functions on the basis of 2-1-0 formula. What is this 2-1-0 formula? What is 2-1-0 formula? 2 minutes to decide whether to give loan or not. 2 minutes to decide. And 1 minute to transfer money. And 0 human contact. And 0 collateral. They will give you loans without any collateral security. 0 human contact and 0 collateral. And 1 minute to transfer money. It will be transferred to your account within 1 minute. You will get immediately 10,000 rupees credited to your account. Right? Normally, you don't find this kind of messages mostly it is debited from your account only, right? So this is what zero collateral. They will give you small loans, and there is no need for any collateral security. Very easy access. You must have seen, as I said, in recently in Bengal, ED also has conducted raids, right? So this is what it is right now at this point of time, right? That is the reason why recently RBI also has spoken about white apps. White app means which are recognized by RBI. Right now, most of them are Chinese apps which are illegal, right? White, W-H-A-T, white, right? So this is what we say about fintech, all these things. It is basically our failure to ensure universal banking even after 75 years of independence. It is the reluctance on the part of commercial banks to provide small loans. They always prefer to give huge loans to big industrialists. For example, if you look at the banking system, these things which you will be studying in your economy banking also, top 300 businessmen in the money have got more than 70% of bank loans in our country. That is how skewed it is. Only top 300 businessmen got more than 70% of the loans that were taken from the banking system, entire banking system. Banks are not willing to provide small loans, and most importantly, banks are also not willing to provide loans without any collateral securities. For all these reasons, we have seen the spread of these fintech companies, and also because of which we have seen so many financial crimes also. In most of the South Indian states, people are committing suicide. Why? Because they could not repay the loans, and they are harassed by the loan agents, recovery agents. Finally, they are forced to commit suicide also. So this is what we say about loan apps and everything. And PLI, production linked incentives, we can start, and then tomorrow we can discuss. So first of all, as we keep on saying, whenever you are studying anything, new concept, thing you have to remember here is why. You always start with why. Why this production linked incentive scheme was introduced by the government of India. What is the reason why? Why? Because the government wanted to promote exports. First one is, what are the objectives? To promote exports. The government wanted to promote exports, right? Then second, to improve or to increase the share of manufacturing in our GDP, to increase the share of manufacturing sector in our GDP from 17% to 25%. In fact, it has gone down during Corona time from 17% to 25%, and to create more employment opportunities for people. To create more employment opportunities for people. Then to reduce competitive disadvantage. To reduce competitive disadvantage that Indian manufacturers suffer. That Indian manufacturers suffer because of high tariff regime. That Indian manufacturers suffer because of high tariff regime. Competitive disadvantage that Indian manufacturers suffer because of a high tariff regime. These are all little bit technical things which I think we can discuss tomorrow. Indian manufacturers suffer. That's it. To reduce competitive disadvantage that Indian manufacturers suffer because of high tariff regime. because of high tariff regime, right? So tomorrow we will discuss what is a PLI scheme and why it is a success or a failure. All those things we will discuss, right? Yes. Did the government take any measures? Uh, Till now, the government has not done anything. It has asked these, apps, Google Play Store, to remove some of those apps, to remove them, to remove those some of those mobile apps from their Play Store. I said that RBI has found 1,000 apps, out of which 600 were illegal. So RBI has, the government of India has asked all these Play Stores, Google, to remove those apps. Beyond that, nothing else has been done. Let more people commit suicide. After that, government will come. That is good. At least that is what you have to write in the examination. Right? Okay, I'll come back in half a second.